You know what my full name is?
Well, I assume Pedro Pascal, but is there more?
Longer. It's a little longer than that.
Go ahead.
Jose Pedro Balmaceda Pascal.
Hello zoo friends, welcome back to Balmaceda Zoo and Gardens. Let's jump into it today. We are gonna look at the Africa section as it sits. It is not done. Some of the habitats are not done at all or halfway done. There's a lot of detailing and signage work that still needs to be done. But like I said, we're just gonna go ahead and do these tours every week and just kind of look at where the zoo sits, finished or not. And you know, it's a bold zoo. It's never really finished. We're always going to be going back and tinkering at stuff. I haven't decided yet how much I care about the pretty paths, because I do have these really beautiful modded paths in, but it makes it so that I can't play on GeForce Now, which makes it a little easier to not only play the game and see it in much better graphics. I mean, my graphics aren't that bad, but you know, it is fun to see your zoos in 4K. But also performance-wise, especially if I'm recording, it makes it much easier to be able to play on GeForce Now. But obviously you can't use mods. I can't open this on GeForce Now. I do also have like the Fever Tree reskin and things like that. So I haven't decided how much I care about that stuff, if it's worth the performance to play it on GeForce Now or not, if I'm going to bother changing it all out. The other thing too is like you can't play with billboards, and like billboards are a pretty big part of some of my builds, so we might just have to put up with the little bit of lag while trying to record, or like we might try to do right now is just record in pause. It works fine in pause. It's just, like I said, my little laptop can't really run it while also recording. I digress though. I'll stop ranting and rambling. We'll get looking at the zoo. So off to the left side here, I did put in this little bit of lawn and tree line to kind of keep you wanting to go to the stuff on the right. But still, you know, looking manicured and nice. I did also pick the spot where you are going to leave zoo main path and then come back to zoo main path to go see this bamboo trail. And I'd like to know your guys' opinions on what we want to do. So is the bamboo trail going to be only Asian tropical animals, or should we just make it a tropical forest section where we have different tropical forest animals from different parts of the world, and we talk about more forests in general rather than a continent specific section, because I can't really decide which that I want to do. But because it is kind of on the way to everything that I am working on, I did kind of set it up to make it look like this is an existing part of the zoo that's already built out, and it's just, you know, closed for renovations or whatever. So you would go to the left, go up through the section, come out on this right side, return to the zoo main path before you missed the start of Africa. Like I said, that is my goal with this zoo, is that everything is one continuous loop and you really don't have to do any backtracking, if at all. So this is then where you come to your first African exhibitry, and this is very layered right here. This is a common theme in this section, where you can see multiple habitats at once, so it feels like you're always just like in the midst of it and surrounded by animals. There is animals on every side of you, pretty much at all times throughout this section. And also using fencing and containment techniques like this, where it's not immediately noticeable that these aren't all just one gigantic habitat with all these animals cohabitating together. So in this first layer, you have meerkat and aardvark. Very, very cute. They have a little ball pit where they come in, and I mean, some of the balls are scattered off who knows where. Let's get into explore mode right now that we're over here, so that we can zoom in and out a little nicer. So there's a little scent thing up here so that the aardvark will come up and stand on this little rock and look really cute. And then we have Jaranek in the mid ground, and they actually go up over the hill and to the other side as well in this habitat, so you can see them in a couple different spots. And then occasionally, if they are over here, because their habitat is just absolutely massive, you will catch a glimpse of the elephant if they're over here. You can see them walking in the background there. Cute little meerkats. We'll pause it again. We'll try to let the animals move a little bit so that we get the feel of it. But yeah, pretty lush. A lot of these habitats are going to be a little more lush than they maybe would be in real life. But I do want, as much as I want it to look real, I also just want the aesthetic a little bit. So carry on. We get a little glass panel here so you can get a little bit nicer look at them. They have some enrichment and dig pits and stuff over here. There's the other aardvark. So yeah, and if you don't want to go under the hill, you can just continue on down this path. You can get another good look at the gerenuk if they're over on this side of their habitat, or you can do what we're gonna do and go under the hill. So we got the sign under the savannah. Again, this is going to have a lot more detailing and sign work done in here. But you come under here, and it's meant to be like you went down a little tunnel. So you have the gerenuk on the side there. And then there are just some little tunnels that I'm working on where you could come in and kind of see these animals running around. So we have some little meerkat tunnels. I might tighten this viewing gap up so that it looks a little more, tunnely, so to speak. How do I... Oh no. Oh, there we go. I was like, I don't remember how to stand back up. But yeah, you can see, make it a little skinnier like this top one so you can see a little better. But it does all work. The animals do scurry about. And then we have just a couple more exhibits down here. We have some sort of snake that I can't remember what it is. This a burrowing African snake. Maybe the adder or maybe something. And then on this side we have the burrow for the porcupine. Oh, I love these guys. They're so stinking cute. Look at him. Oh my gosh, spiky boy. And the porcupine, just like the meerkat aardvark, also have an outdoor habitat. So as you come out of the tunnel here, you can look down on either side and hopefully get a glimpse of more porcupine. Oh, we're standing on the fence. So they do have an underpass that goes under this path, and they can come up both sides here. And then as well, when you're looking at the porcupine out here, you'd also get this back view of the other side of the gerenuk habitat. Yeah, and then you continue on. To the right here is Poison Blade's balloon cart, just modified after the update to put the real balloon stand and things like that here, so guests can stop and get a balloon. And then we have just this little picnic area and playground. Let the kids stop and run around. I put the little giraffe measuring thing in there, and a fake acacia tree, so that little playground. You can look back on those same elephant viewing point there. And then we really start getting into it. So we have this big elephant passage rock sign. This is supposed to look like this is carved into the rock. And then banners on the bridge. So yeah, this is kind of a pretty main viewing spot for the elephants. So you can kind of see into the different ends here. And they can walk right underneath of you and go off to the other side. Now this kind of wing of their habitat, there is no guest viewing other than this bridge. So this is kind of one of the spots that they can go to if they want to be able to just get out of view and have a little bit of privacy. They can go back in there and not be seen if they don't want to. And as well as while you're on the bridge, you can get some first peeks into the other animals. You can see the safari animals if they are over in this side, because the safari is another really huge enclosure. So sometimes you can get a far away peek at them standing over here, and their barns and stuff will be back over here, or their backstage areas. So as we cross the bridge into Africa, again, you're kind of running parallel with the elephants because lots of viewing areas, because their habitat is so big that we need lots of chances to be able to see them depending on where they are at. Their backstage building is obviously not done, and the detailing in their habitat is not done, but there isn't much detailing you can really do in an elephant habitat and keep it looking real, because elephants just would ruin everything. So I'm trying to figure out ways that I can make it look pretty like I want, but also be somewhat realistic. So adding things like protected foliage or areas that maybe are a little tougher for the elephants to get into. The grass here, but like you could see it as if like they've been sticking their trunks under and picking the grass out of there. Yeah, and then off on this side, you can see your first glimpse at the rhino and cheetah habitat. Oh, look at him standing up on the rock. I really wanted this view to feel like there wasn't any fence. Like for a second, you might think that you're sharing space with these animals because you can't really make out the fact that there is a moat between the two of you. So we see Cheetah looking perfect up on his rock there, and then the rhinos as well. Their backstage building isn't done, and they can come all around here. There's like a mud rolling pit and things like that. Lots to really encourage them to the front of this habitat, but I also wanted them to be able to get to the back, because rhinos are a little bit private, I think, so that they not necessarily always have eyes on them. So as we come along here, you can, if you want to skip this section, like a lot of spots in the zoo will be, you could take a shortcut and just keep going straight through, if you didn't want to see this section for whatever reason, or you can just come right into the heart of Africa. Oh, I should mention too, if you do skip this section, you can actually see about half of the animals anyway, because you'll get views into the back of their enclosure. So they wouldn't be great views, but you could technically see quite a few of the animals if you did skip the section. But we're not going to skip it. We're going to head right in. So into the heart of Africa. And of course, you'd excited run over to see the rhino and the cheetah over here. Let's see if we can press play for a second without crashing. So yeah, I was so excited when I very first found out that this is an actual mix that does happen. I knew that this had to be in this zoo. You just have to give the cheetahs a space that they can go that the rhinos can't. So I did do that. Ooh, jumping cheetah. So I just love it. I think it's really different and unique. It's not really a mix that you would see a whole lot. And we do have a king cheetah in here as well, which I am obsessed with. Like, he's so beautiful. Actually, I'm not sure if it's the male or the female. That's the king version, but so beautiful. Just so different. I really like the spotless one. I couldn't decide if I wanted to do a spotless one or a king cheetah, but I ended up going with the king cheetah because I think in my last zoo that I had cheetahs in, I did the spotless one. But we're gonna hit pause here again so we save on my poor little computer. All right, and then there's some education here as well. Like what does a rhino horn feel like, and probably talking about like the dangers of poaching and stuff that they face, yada yada yada. And then on this side, Again, you can see this layered view where you would see the elephants and the pigs at the same time. So we have red river hog, and then I just threw guinea fowl in there because I figured that, you know, if the zoo, somebody gave them guinea fowl or they rescued them from a private owner or whatever it is the case, they would probably just throw them in with something else that they had, and you know, the pigs aren't going to bother the guinea fowl a whole lot. I did put quite a bit of foliage in this habitat, but still tried to make it look like, you know, the pigs have just ripped the place up, because that's realistically what they would do. I mean, they would just root out anything that you put in there. So I did try to keep it in areas where maybe the pigs don't go a whole lot. Things are able to grow. Ugh, I just love these guys. Look how freaking cute. These are one of my favorites at my local zoo too. These red river hogs. I don't know what it is about them, but I think they're so cute. And the babies are like everything. But they've got a pretty... Oh, we might have to hit pause. I think we just froze. Come on. You can do it. Alright. We'll hit pause so that doesn't happen again. Yeah, they got a pretty nice little backstage building here. A little bit of shade there in case they get a little warm. Some vegetables. I know it's really cheesy and cliche, but we got this African hut village vibe going on. Sometimes you gotta lean into the cheese, okay? Then we go down into this main kind of plaza path type of thing. This is the area I was talking about, where the cheetah can get to, but the rhinos can't. So this is their backstage entry here. And they've got a bedding and some food and stuff to encourage them to come over here, and they actually spend quite a lot of time over here, so they'd be able to, they can fit under both of these logs here, so they just come under here and get away from the rhinos if they want, as well as you know, provide some really nice up close viewing for the guests if the cheetah happen to be in here. If they're not, fear not, because you can just go right across the path and look at the wild dogs. I love these guys both in game and in real life. They're so amazing. You know, not a super special habitat. I mean, a wild dog habitat is usually just, you know, a grassy patch where they run around and play. Did give them a few things that they could kind of jump and run around and hide and play. They do have pups, I think, in there too. And then they have this little, like, kind of den area where they would come and they lay down, and there's some enrichment and stuff in there. But yeah, super cute. Love these guys. I do have the remaster on these guys to get more coat variation on them. Hit pause so we don't freeze up again. All right. And then here is where you would enter this building. It was going to be indoor viewing for the rhino, but I can't figure out a way to have it look the way I want it to look, but be able to have the rhino get in there because the cheetah would also be able to get in there. But I think what I might do is just make this an education center that I don't know if it would necessarily have animals in it. So you could choose whether you were going to go in it or not go in it. You know, there might be, you know, maybe some little exhibit animals or hyrax or something like that in there if you did want to go in there and see them. I think that's what I will do with it. It's obviously not done yet. It's not really a priority right now. I might slap some doors on it and just leave it for now and come back to it later. I just haven't 100% decided exactly what I'm going to build in there. But then we come up here, we've got restrooms and some vending machines, as well as a little kind of food kiosk that's not done. I have to do the interior, or at least as much of the interior as to be able to see into there. And you can sit here and watch the wild dogs, eat your lunch or whatever. You can eat over here by the baboons as well. This is just backstage access to the baboons and the wild dogs. I'm trying to keep a lot of these paths really, really wide in a lot of areas, because for habitats like this that would have animals of this size, you wouldn't necessarily need full road access, but you would need to be able to get through here with like a gator or a cart or something, to not only bring supplies into the habitat as far as food and stuff, but to be able to get the animals into crates loaded on the carts and out of the zoo if you needed to, or to the vet or whatever the case may be. So I am trying to keep that in mind as far as path width. There is 2 separate routes around this planter, because I imagine this area would get pretty clogged up because people would line up to get food and stuff. So you can just go around. If it's too busy, you can just come around this way and go that way. There are a couple spots where the path inevitably narrows, but I think that's a little bit realistic. Lots of trees, so lots of fallen leaves in this area. And then this is where you would come out of that education building. So you would come out, and then immediately to your left there would be this hippopotamus exhibit. Oh, look, they're even on land for us. Oh, that's awesome. Good timing, hippos. So there's a little hose here to make this mud area mud. And then you can also start to catch the big safari in the background. That big empty space is going to be where Bamboo Trail goes. But yeah, here we have our, see if you can press play, our hippopotamus up on land. Get them. And then if they're not on the land, you can come up on this little raised platform and see them in the water, as well as get some really great views into this savannah habitat, which I think will look really nice once I'm finished dressing it out. But same with this one and the elephant habitat. They're so big, and they realistically would be mostly empty, so I'm kind of can feel myself avoiding doing it. I need to just bite the bullet and do it. I did start on it the other day, but it just got really tiring. And even though this view is absolutely beautiful, Planet Zoos and the guests do nothing but complain about the view of this habitat. They hate having to look over top of this hippo water into these animals. All they do is complain about it. But you know, maybe we just bury them in the back of the zoo or something. Yeah. I also did a trick where the land goes up and then down, and then there's the back fence, so you don't see the back fence at all. So you kind of get this feeling like this habitat just goes on and on forever, when it really is actually just long and thin. The barriers are just hidden back there. There's quite a tall electric fence back there. You just can't see it. But yeah, a little bit of zoo design for you. And yeah, you can see into the water here. Oh, we're frozen again. Alright. Oh, that's because we're not paused. Okay, pause. So, and then over here we have a little bit of a barrier. So we have some concrete pillars and then a netted fence to block the hippos from coming this way, because this water runs off into this little secondary habitat, which has shoebill in it for right now. I'm not sure if that's what I'll leave in there. I originally was gonna do like a little dik habitat here, but I changed my mind kind of last minute to go for some sort of bird, and kind of, you know, I want to have, you know, the ability to get away from hoofstock and exhibit some birds and stuff like that. So we have our 2 shoebill in there right now. They are mating right now. Normally there would only be 1 in there because they are solitary birds. But and then off to this side, oh, I do have to show too. There's these little hippo statues here. You could come and you get your kids' picture taken with them. At our zoo there is a statue quite like this, where it's like looks like a hippo sunk down into the water, but it's big enough that the kids can actually climb into the hippo's mouth, and that's where they get their photos taken every time at the zoo. One of the spots anyway. And then opposite is the olive baboon. I was gonna maybe just go with mandrill here, but mandrill felt a little more tropical than what I was looking for, because this is very much would be like sort of safari savannah sort of vibes, kind of Kenya, South Africa area. I know those places are nowhere near each other, but you know what I mean. And the mandrill didn't really seem to fit, as well as just the nostalgia from Zoo Tycoon 2. You know, when I saw these guys were modded into the game, I had to grab them, and they're pretty cute. So they have some basic low chunky climbing in there, because I don't really think they're very arboreal. I think they're pretty ground dwelling, pretty terrestrial primates, but they do have some stuff that they can kind of clamber around on. Yeah, pretty basic habitat for them. It's not really a very high budget habitat. Yeah, and then we come up over here. There's like a little enrichment feeder there for the shoebills as well. And then you can either go up the stairs, or there is an elevator if you have mobility issues to go to the outlook. So you come up on here, and there is another food area, but this is more like sit-down restaurant type of food, not exactly quick serve. I'm not sure if I'll set this up. You know, I need to finish this out. If I'll set this up to be, you know, tray-based or something, because I thought I actually put the restaurant in backwards, because I thought if it was tray-based, like you would just come up here and order rather than go around to the actual order spot. But I haven't finished all that, and there'll be restrooms. There's restrooms and stuff in there as well. And then in this corner, if you knew, you could come over to this corner, and this fence won't be here. There'll be another one of those hidden moats, and you'll be able to get a sneaky peek into the lions from here. But yeah, you can come up on this outlook and get some really great views of the savannah habitat. Let's see if we can hit play in this area. This is like one of the heaviest areas, because there's just so many animals in this habitat, because it's so big that in order to keep it from looking super empty, you know, there has to be a lot of animals in there, which is fine. The path gets a little tight here because this baobab was a afterthought addition. I'm not sure if it would be real or fake, but I just wanted something kind of big and imposing up here, as well as to provide a little bit of shade. Let's pause it again. We're chugging along. So yeah, this is our savannah habitat. Like I said, not finished. I think I actually might leave this solid barrier here, to kind of provide a little bit of peek into the next section I'm working on, but not enough peek that you would really see what's going there, but enough to make you want to go over there. Plus, I think having some spot where you can actually see the zoo part, like the fencing and stuff, even in an area where you're trying to hide it, feels very real. Like, they would try to hide it, but they also, I mean, look at the backdrop. They can't, as much as they try, they can't hide the fact that they are in the middle of a city, or at least on the outskirts of a city. So yeah, you can come out onto here, and this spot too would have, it was originally set up to be a giraffe feeding experience. So we have the signage over here, and then we have these panels that during the giraffe feeding, they would put these panels up and only let people who are ticketed for the feeding experience come in here. I actually was going to set this up that this little peninsula would always be closed unless you were feeding the giraffe, but the views from this peninsula are just so good that I had to leave it open. I did then put in some rocks and stuff so the giraffe can't get right up close and headbutt somebody or something. And this area has like this slanted wall to prevent that. But this one, they obviously need to be able to get a little bit closer because they need to be able to eat the food from the people. So we've got all of our, we've got Thompson's gazelle in here, zebra, giraffe, and wildebeest, I believe, in here. I don't know where any of the wildebeest are, but they are in here. And you can get a good look at their water hole that flows down into the hippo thing. There's a wildebeest. Oh, and ostrich. There's also 2 whole ostrich in here. I'm thinking about putting a ground hornbill in here, but I think it'd be fun, but I don't think you would ever see them. The other thing I might do, I haven't decided, is I might actually try to get a monorail out the back, because I just think it would be cool, and then maybe have it so that some of the rarer hoofstock, like okapis or something like that, we could put at the back, where you would basically only see them from the monorail. I think that would be a cool addition, but I don't know how to work the rides in this game, so I don't know if that'll happen, because I don't know if I can do it and have it look good, or if I should just fake it. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Maybe eventually I'll decide. Also, there's gonna have to be, although I could move it back, there's gonna have to be some sort of back road in here for backstage access into this side of the zoo, so yeah. Pretty cool. That's most of what I have done so far. Oh, I will show you as well. Come back down here. Oh, look, there is one down there. Oh, and real quick, this is where you'd come out if you took that shortcut that we seen going into this section. But if you wanted to jaunt real quick back this way, oh, come on, walk faster. So yeah, you can see on the side here where you would get those kind of backwards looks into those habitats, but over here is also where we have the elephant talk stadium. So occasionally there would be like an elephant talk here, so you come down, have a seat. There's quite a bit of seating because this is actually very popular, and then they would come in here, they would give their educational talk, and then there's this special kind of open style fencing here, because in my mind, they would also show off the cooperative care training that they do with the elephants. So that's very popular in zoos right now, is using positive reinforcement for cooperative care, so that they can do checkups on the animals without sedation or without confinement. So teaching them to like show me your foot, show me your mouth, your trunk, your ears, rest your body up against the fence and whatnot. So I have like the little target stuff, so that they could show off those behaviors to the guests as they come. And it is close enough that they do throw food over, so the elephants do come over when they get the talk. It's pretty cool. Obviously there'll be backdrop and stuff as well of foliage up top of those mud walls, but haven't got there yet. Okay, we're back. Planet Zoo did not totally just crash twice in a row. So yeah, after you see the elephant show, you can continue on. This is kind of the end of the Africa section a little bit. So we have the lagoon here for the elephants, and if you want, you can come up on this little platform and look out on them, which is a pretty, get the water going here. So they have the waterfall enrichment that they can stand under and play in, and then it flows down into their lagoon. So you can see them coming around and hanging out. Some parts are deeper than others, so that they can swim a little bit or just walk around and wade around depending on what they want, and you kind of get one final look over the stretch there. This part here will probably just be kind of lawn and trees planted as sort of a little bit of a break, and then as you come out here, we'll get out of Here will be the lions, which will have one of those kind of infinity views again, with the background of the savannah animals. Again, this will just be planted kind of for a break. And then one final view of the savannah where you can come up close and be ground level and really appreciate the size of the giraffes and that sort of a thing. And then the next part I've kind of started tinkering with a little bit is we will have a very small sands of the world desert area with just a couple little desert animals, and then these pyramids will be like glass greenhouses that would be humidity controlled so that they could have desert plants in them. And then you would return to the path and continue on. I'm not sure if the night house is gonna stay there. I might have to move it. And then we'll have the urban farm petting zoo area, probably another park, some gardens around this tower, swan area, and then the rest of the zoo. So yeah, that's where we sit for now. As far as zoo. Oh, I can show you one more thing. Hopefully this video isn't getting too long, but of course we had the update, so we had to get it done. We put in the gift shop, so as you were leaving the zoo, you could go straight and avoid the gift shop if you wanted to, go out the gates, but you're kind of meant to come along here and exit through the gift shop. There will be another way to exit as well, because you can leave the path here, because we're gonna have that conservatory or education center conservatory building here. The round part of it is part of the entrance building. So you can also leave through that way, and I think I might put in an opening that opens into the gift shop so that you could actually go through the conservatory, through the gift shop, and then out of the zoo as well. So yeah, we come in here, Zootique as normal, and I put this little sun bear sign there because I haven't actually got to use it at all, and it is one of my favorite things in the entire game. But yeah, we come in here. I do have a mix of the new official stuff and some blueprints from the workshop, because some of these blueprints are so good that they actually blend really well with the official stuff. So lots of stuffies and animals. I might put more stuff in this gift shop. I just didn't want it to be too crowded, but I mean, zoo gift shops are usually just absolutely packed to the brim with stuff, and usually most of it is toys and stuffed animals. But yeah, and then over here we have some houseware kind of stuff, clothing, t-shirts, hoodies, that sort of thing, hats, scarves. So we have the tills here with gift shop stuff and bags that you can buy, and then where this billboard wall is for the SD Wolf Conservatory, that's what it's going to be called, in honor of Estan. There might be an opening here where you could come out from the conservatory into the gift shop and then out. I just haven't 100% decided yet. So just more shelves of stuff, balloons, posters, phone cases, that sort of a thing, little grabbers. Yeah, I did one thing I did forget. I don't know if I'm gonna include it or have them just go outside and around, is that sneak back outside here for a second. This building here is meant to be like the warehouse for the gift shop, and I forgot to put a door linking them, so they might have to just, when they're gonna restock, come out, go grab stuff, and then come back around, which isn't the biggest pain in the butt. It's just I kind of forgot. But yeah, that's the gift shop, some masks and scarves and things like that, and then you would head out of the zoo. Yeah, now that is for real this time. The zoo so far, and then we'll check back next week to see how much I have gotten done. I don't know how much time I will have, Yeah, like I said, I got lots done because I was super sick the last week, so I've been sitting at home. But that means I do have to get caught up on work. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below if you have any comments or suggestions or ideas or what you think we should work on next. I might take a break from Africa for a second before continuing and work on something else. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments down below. Give this video a like and subscribe and all that cool YouTube stuff, and I will see you again next time. Bye bye.